Hi everyone, I am Dr. Anisha, your microbiology faculty, and in today's session we will be discussing about one of the most volatile sections of this subject, that is immunodeficiency disorders. And under immunodeficiency disorders, we will be covering up the primary immunodeficiency disorders as well as the secondary immunodeficiency disorders. So let us try to learn and remember them with the help of simple tips and tricks. So firstly, let us know what immunodeficiency actually means. So immunodeficiency is a state wherein the immune system of the body is impaired. So the body naturally becomes weak and it is unable to mount an immune response. As a result, there is increased susceptibility of development of microbial infections in the host cells. So these can be bacterial infections, fungal, or even viral infections, and certain carcinogenic states as well, right? So the defense mechanism is deranged, is impaired, no immune response or defective immune response, leading to the increased susceptibility to microbial infections. And even predispose these individuals to development of certain carcinogenic states. So now these immunodeficiency disorders, these are characterized into two, that is primary immunodeficiency disorders as well as secondary immunodeficiency disorders. So when we discuss about primary immunodeficiency disorders, remember that primary years in a person's life are the developmental years. So naturally, in primary immunodeficiency disorders, it is going to be developmental defect. And primary disorders are inherent in nature. So these are inherited defects. Inherited, number one. And second point is there is developmental defect, right? And what do we understand by secondary immunodeficiency disorders? Secondary immunodeficiencies are nothing other than the disorders which develop secondary to certain states. These can be secondary to infections. These can be secondary to some immunosuppression or drug therapy. Immunosuppression. Drug therapies, toxicity, etc. So these are because of certain predisposed or preconditioned state which lead to development of secondary immunodeficiency disorders. So let us discuss about the different categories of primary immunodeficiency disorders. So these include 5 categories. So first ones are B cell defect. First thing. Then we have T cell defects. Right? Then we have combined B and T cell defect. Then we have disorders of phagocytosis. And lastly, we have some complement defects. Complement deficiency or complement defects. So let us look at these immunodeficiency disorders one by one. And a very important point which is asked in your exams and the questions framed in your exams from this particular topic is the way wherein you'll be given 4 or 5 options and you would be asked that which amongst these is a phagocytosis disorder or a B cell defect or a T cell defect. So it gets very difficult for you to learn all of these word by word, right? So let us see that with the help of some simple tricks and mnemonics. So the very first one we are discussing now is a B cell defect. So for this, a mnemonic which says a B cell immunological defect. So let us break it down. A stands for isolated IgA deficiency. Isolated IgA deficiency. B stands for Bruton's disease. And the next letter, C, stands for common variable immunodeficiency. Common variable immunodeficiency. And the fourth one, a very simple one, is hyper IgM defect. Right? So these are covering all the B cell defects. So let's take up the first one, which is Bruton's disease. So in order to learn the inheritance, we must know this is a X-linked disorder. X-linked disorder majorly affecting males. And certain sporadic cases may be seen in females as well. And what is the defect? So the pre-B cell is unable to differentiate into immature B cell. Immature B cell. And what is the developmental site of B cells? So it is the bone marrow. So immature B cells in the bone marrow. And what is the enzyme responsible for this? So the defect in the enzyme is the BTK enzyme. So how do you remember that? With B, you must be aware of a very famous Korean band which is BTS band, right? So can we interchange this S with K? So are we able to derive this enzyme BTK? It stands for nothing but Bruton's tyrosine kinase defect. And because of it, in the circulation, there is complete absence of B cells and plasma cells. And the immunoglobulins are also synthesized by the B cells. So there's also absence of all the immunoglobulins. And as a result of these enzyme deficiency or the defect, this predisposes the individuals to development of secondary infections. And these infections can be bacterial, can be viral, parasitic infections, and also certain autoimmune diseases, right? So these bacterial or the bacteria, Haemophilus influenzae, Streptococcus pneumoniae, Staph aureus, these are all very important bacteria which are responsible for otitis media, sinusitis, and all the skin and soft tissue infections, pulmonary infections. So the individuals are predisposed to development of the secondary bacterial infections, these infections, and also enteroviral infections which are cleared by the neutralizing antibodies. certain parasitic infections as well, Giardia, and of course the autoimmune diseases. So this particular enzyme defect and the developmental defect of B cells leads to all of these infections in the individual. So it is an inherited defect and it is majorly affecting the males. So these are all the important points which are important in Bruton's disease, right? So now let us move on to the next defect, which is hyper IgM syndrome. So a very fun story, you all will relate to it. So M stands for mothers. So our mothers in their 40s are very hyper in 40s. As a result, they do not allow boys and teen girls to meet. And also they are very averse to the situation wherein boys and girls, they switch their classes. So they do not allow, they are not in favor of switching classes. Right? So now let us see what the defect is. So the defect in hyper IgM syndrome is that of isotype class switch over. This has been derived from our story that mothers are not allowing their kids or boys and teen girls to switch classes, right? So what is the mutation? Mutation is CD40 or CD40L or ligand, right? So isotype class switchover, you must know it is very important for the synthesis of other immunoglobulins other than the IgM immunoglobulin, which is one of the primarily synthesized immunoglobulin in B cell developmental and the synthesis of immunoglobulins, right? So class switchover is the necessity for the development of certain immunoglobulins. So what is the mutation? It is CD40, so mothers at 40 age, right? So what is the mechanism? So since CD40, it allows the B cell and T cell interaction, which is necessary for class switchover. Right? So now, when B cell and T cell interaction is not occurring, so naturally there is no class switchover, right? No class switchover. So now what happens because of this? So because of this, there is increased IgM immunoglobulin, because IgM is the first immunoglobulin which is synthesized, right? Whereas the other immunoglobulins are not synthesized. Others immunoglobulins are not synthesized or deficient, right? So it is hyper IgM syndrome. So there is increased IgM in the sera, whereas other immunoglobulins are already absent or are absent, right? So as a result, what happens? What are the diseases? What it predisposes the individuals, because immunoglobulins are altogether absent. It is just the IgM, so it predisposes the individuals to secondary bacterial infections, right? And also some autoimmune diseases as well, autoimmune disorders as well, right? So this is the defect which is seen in hyper IgM disorder. So let us now move on to the next disorder, which is common variable immunodeficiency. So with C is the third letter, right? So what is the onset of this particular disease, which is important and it gets asked? It is the second and third decade of life. Second and third decade of life. And another important thing which can be derived from common is that this particular deficiency or this particular defect, it is common to both males and females. So what is the defect? It is again the developmental defect, wherein there is no differentiation of B cells to the plasma cells, no differentiation of the development of B cells to plasma cells, and also the secretion of immunoglobulins or synthesis of immunoglobulins, right? So the detection is on exclusion. Detection of this particular syndrome is on exclusion. This is the only thing that you need to remember from common variable immunodeficiency, that it is common to both males and females, and the onset is between second and third decade, right? So then comes the isolated IgA deficiency. So what is the IgA immunoglobulin responsible for normally in our body? It provides mucosal immunity. It is responsible for mucosal immunity. And what are the sites that have this particular immunity? It is firstly the intestinal as well as the GI tract, not just GI, oral, respiratory tract, right? So what is the defect? There is terminal differentiation. There is block in the terminal differentiation of IgA secreting B cells to plasma cells. And this terminal differentiation between IgA secreting B cells to plasma cells can be because of inherent B cell defect, inherent or underlying B cell defect, or we can say it is intrinsic B cell defect. Or because of the release of certain cytokines from the T cells for the development of these immunoglobulins, or the secretion or the defect or the development of this particular defect. So it is inherent or underlying or intrinsic B cell defect. So there is final verdict is that they are unable to differentiate into plasma cells, right? And further developmental stages. So what are the infections? So because of the mucosal immunity is now impaired, so what are the infections? There will be respiratory tract infections, as well as gastrointestinal infections. Because mucosal immunity is impaired, right? So there is just IgA deficiency. It is just isolated IgA deficiency is occurring here, and it is deciding that now I am not giving any mucosal immunity, so I will predispose all the individuals to the development of these infections, right? So now let us move on to the next section, which is T cell defects. So for remembering T cell defects, let us learn this mnemonic TOL DCP. TOL DCP. So T stands for, firstly, T cell defect, or we can say it is thymic hypoplasia, but thymic hypoplasia, we have another letter for describing it, which is D. So thymic hypoplasia is also another name for a very, very famous question, which is DiGeorge syndrome. DiGeorge syndrome, right? C stands for chronic mucocutaneous candidiasis. Chronic mucocutaneous candidiasis. And P stands for purine nucleoside phosphorylase defect. So these are T cell defects. These three cover, and the mnemonic covers these three defects. So moving on, we have the very first defect, that is DiGeorge syndrome. And firstly, covering up the very famous mnemonic Catch-22, a very, very important question for your exams. So let us break this mnemonic down. So C stands for hypocalcemia. A stands for abnormal facies. So are you able to appreciate this cleft palate and elevated lips? So this is the defect which is very commonly seen in DiGeorge syndrome, the cleft palate, right? Cleft palate and at times cleft lip. So cleft palate. Then T stands for thymic hypoplasia. Thymic hypoplasia or aplasia. So all the organs which are developed from the thymus are defective. Then C stands for cardiac issues, or we can say that C also stands for, so C stands for cardiac issues, cardiac defect, most common being Pallet's tetralogy. There are defects of aortic arches, great vessels, etc. Right? And then we have the next letter, which is H, which stands for parathyroid hypoplasia. Parathyroid hypoplasia leads to hypocalcemia, right? And 22, it is the chromosomal defect. So deletion of 22q11, which is the chromosomal defect seen in this thymic hypoplasia or DiGeorge syndrome. So what is the defect? So defect is T cell maturation defect, and it affects T cell maturation or thymic hypoplasia, thymic developmental defect, which is affecting naturally their T cell maturation. So what is the pathogenesis? Because of the chromosomal defect 22q11, right? This is a deletion defect. So the all the organs which are developed from the third and fourth pharyngeal pouches, third and fourth pharyngeal pouches are defective. And what are the important organs? Thymus, this is defective. Then parathyroid, aortic arch, as well as some portion of the face. So since we said it is a T cell defect or T cell maturation defect, so are the B cells and other serum immunoglobulins affected?
Yeah.
These are normal. There is no effect, no differentiation or deficiency or any developmental defect in B cells as well as in immunoglobulins. So moving on to the next defect, which is chronic mucocutaneous candidiasis. So in chronic mucocutaneous candidiasis, the defect is impaired cell-mediated immunity against Candida albicans, which is predisposing the individuals to skin and soft tissue infections, right? So there is, with C and M, we can derive that it is a cell-mediated immunity which is impaired against Candida albicans, and all the infections which are caused by Candida albicans are leading to or predisposing the patient to the development of these infections. And also patients are predisposed to certain autoimmune disorders as well. Right? So this is the only thing that you need to learn from chronic mucocutaneous candidiasis. So now, with PNP deficiency, learn the mnemonic PNB Bank in GTB hospitals. So what is the inheritance? Firstly, it is autosomal recessive inheritance. And what is the deficiency? What is the defect or deficiency? There is elevated levels of deoxy GTP. So instead of GTP, we have used GTP levels, elevated deoxy GTP levels, which result in another important thing, that is T cell toxicity. So it is leading to T cell toxicity. So now tell me, are the B cells affected in this disorder? No, B cells are not affected because it is isolated T cell defect. B cells are unaffected. Right? So now let us move on to the next section, which is combined immunodeficiency disorders. And for this, another fun mnemonic, which is Vans canvas shoes. So with Vans, the V can be replaced by W. Can we replace it? We can learn it. Then with W, we have Wiskott-Eldridge syndrome. Then with A, we have ataxia, telangiectasia. Then with N, we have Nezeloff syndrome. And in this particular syndrome, there is cellular immunodeficiency, which is predisposing the individuals to certain bacterial infections and autoimmune disease. There's not much to remember from this particular syndrome. And with S, we have severe combined immunodeficiency, and then the letter C, it denotes the combined immunodeficiency disorders. So let's talk about the first disorder in combined immunodeficiency. It is the Wiskott-Eldridge syndrome. So can we use this letter K to make it X? So the inheritance is X-linked recessive disorder. X-linked recessive disorder. So what is the pathogenesis and gene defect associated? So there is going to be mutation in VAS protein. So with VAS, can you remember the short form of Wiskott-Eldridge syndrome, which is VAS? So there is mutation in VAS protein, which is very important in actin polymerization. So now what is the manifestation and deficiency? So manifestation is that there is defective response to bacterial polysaccharides. There is thrombocytopenia. There can be eczema. And patients in this particular disease, IgN levels are lower, whereas IgG levels are normal in their consistency, normal in their content. So what are the symptoms? So patients are predisposed to development of bloody diarrhea, secondary to thrombocytopenia, and the patients are also predisposed to development of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So when Wiskott-Eldridge syndrome, you should remember that it is an X-linked recessive disorder, one thing. Then there is mutation in VAS protein, which is important for actin polymerization, which predispose the patient to the development of bloody diarrheas with secondary to thrombocytopenia. Thrombocytopenia is seen, and severity of this particular defect, it somehow increases with age. So this is what you need to learn from this particular defect, Wiskott-Eldridge syndrome. So let's move on to the next one, which is ataxia telangiectasia. So it is the primary defect in this particular immunodeficiency is the kinase defect involved in regulation of cell cycle. So cell cycle regulatory defect is present in this particular deficiency. So what are the symptoms? These can be derived from the name itself, that is ataxia. That is imbalance during walking. One thing. Then the second one is telangiectasia, which means broken capillaries, a sign which can be easily appreciated in the eyes, right? And then the third one is chorioethitoid movements, will be seen in the patients, right? So all of these things would be seen in ataxia, telangiectasia, right? So now let's discuss the next immunodeficiency, which is severe combined immunodeficiency, right? So it is just not one deficiency, but it is an amalgamation of multiple disorders or defects. So with S, let us derive the important genetic defect, that is cytokine defect, interleukin 7. So you write S and 7 with the same letter, right? So the most common genetic defect is cytokine defect, interleukin 7. This is the main one. Then we can have 2, 4, 9 and 15 interleukins which are defective, right? So these are the other interleukins which are defective. So most commonly it is inherited as an X-linked disorder, but in other states, in other conditions, it can be inherited as an autosomal recessive inheritance or disorder. And what are the other important defects which are seen in severe combined immunodeficiencies? So it can be derived from this mnemonic, which is Michael Jackson dance. So with M, can we derive MHC class 2 deficiency? With Jack, can we derive the Jack mutation? And with DA, can we derive ADA deficiency disorder? ADA deficiency. And the last one you will have to remember, that is RAS mutation. RAS mutation. Right? So there is a combined immunodeficiency which is again predisposing the individuals to development of secondary bacterial infections and lot of autoimmune conditions. Coming to the disorders of phagocytosis, we have Job syndrome, Schwartzman's disease, myeloperoxidase deficiency, Shediac-Higashi syndrome, leukocyte adhesion defect, lazy leukocyte syndrome, chronic granulomatous disease, as well as trypsin deficiency. Discussing about them one by one. So the very first one is Job syndrome. So now remember, in a person who is in a job or who is doing job, he usually have excuses to skip work, right? They'll have excuses to skip work and they'll give excuses like they have skin and pulmonary infections like cough and cold, right? So these people will always have excuses. So what is the mechanism of this particular defect or disease? There is neutrophil chemotaxis defect, right? So now it has two types of inheritances. One is autosomal dominant, whereas autosomal recessive. Now remember, the manager in the job is very dominant and he wants his employees to complete the work stat, right? He wants his employee to complete the work stat. So what is the mutation? It is STAT3 mutation in autosomal dominant inheritance, right? And then the autosomal recessive inheritance. Now the employees, they don't really care what the manager says and that he is dominant. They enjoy their chilling and they enjoy in the recess or in the lunch break having dosa. So what is the autosomal recessive defect or inheritance? It is the DOCK8 inheritance, right? So now when we said that people in job are making excuses, remember E for excuses. So this particular infection or disease is known as, it's not an infection, it is a inherited defect, where it is also known as hyper IgE defect. So firstly, there is going to be elevated levels of serum IgE immunoglobulin, one thing. Then patient will have eczema, eosinophilia will also be seen, eosinophilia would be seen, right? And then patient will have skin infections, and pulmonary infections. Skin infections include abscesses, right? And recurrent pulmonary infections as well. So with E, we have derived so many things, and these you will have to remember that patient is going to have pulmonary infections and recurrent skin infections, including the abscesses. So it is because of the defect in neutrophil chemotaxis. And the patient with Job syndrome will have typical phases. And what do we see in such patients? Firstly, patient will have skin abscesses. Then a patient is also going to have eczema. The next important thing, that are you able to appreciate this prominent forehead of the patient? Prominent forehead. So there will be prominent forehead. Deep set eyes would be visible. Deep set eyes. Then the nasal bridge would be broad. Broad nasal bridge. So these are the defects which you would see in Job syndrome or hyper IgE syndrome. Very, very important for your exams. Now moving on to the next deficiency, it is the tufsin deficiency. Now tufsin, it is synthesized or it is a tetrapeptide which is synthesized by cleavage of Fc portion of IgG. So patient, again there is neutrophil defect, neutrophil chemotaxis defect. So the patient is predisposed to secondary infections or bacterial infections. There's going to be gingivitis, stomatitis, other pyogenic infections as well. Pyogenic infections. Now coming to the next defect or disease, which is known as Shortman's disease. Remember, all of these disorders are of phagocytosis. So ultimately, there is going to be deficiency of chemotaxis ultimately, because these chemotaxis are important for ultimate death or lysis of certain cells, right? So phagocytosis is completely defective in all of these situations. So that is also going to be a common defect seen in them. So in Shortman's defect, there is this short watchman who is carrying a nipple. He is having nipple battery. So with short watchman can be derived that there is going to be short stature, one thing. Then another thing, there's going to be skeletal defects. Then with N, patient will have neutropenia. Then there is going to be bone marrow defect, bone marrow dysfunction. And another important thing that is associated with Forshman disorder, it is the pancreatic insufficiency. Pancreatic insufficiency. So are we able to derive all the defects which are associated with Forshman's disease and the fun mnemonic, a short watchman who's carrying a Nippo battery, right? So now moving on to the next defect, which is lazy leukocyte syndrome. So leukocyte here we are referring to is the neutrophil, right? So there is defective neutrophil, chemotaxis would be there. So naturally, patient is going to be predisposed to pyogenic bacterial as well as some fungal infections, right? And then myeloperoxidase deficiency, this myeloperoxidase is either defective or deficient. And the main role of myeloperoxidase is also the chemotaxis of neutrophils. So it is the chemotaxis of neutrophils. So what is it predisposing the patients to? It is predisposing them to immunodeficiency, and also to fungal infections like most commonly Candida albicans. So myeloperoxidase is defective or deficient, right? So this enzyme predisposes the individuals to the immunodeficiency and fungal infections like Candida albicans. Now moving on to the leukocyte adhesion defect. What do we see in leukocyte adhesion defect? So the leukocytes we are referring to here again are the neutrophils, right? And what is the adhesion? They are unable to adhere. That is why there is defective neutrophil chemotaxis. So now it is predisposing again in the individuals to pyogenic infections, or bacterial infections as well as fungal infections. So what are the two defects? Again, questions for your exams. LAD1 and LAD2, leukocyte adhesion defect. So in LAD1 there is mutation in beta 2 integrin or CD18 subunit of chromosome 21, right? And in LAD2 there is mutation of fucosyl transferase required for sialylated oligosaccharides. So how do you remember this busy LAD1 and LAD2? So boys, they become LAD in the very first duration, or at very first at the age of 18 to 21. And now in the later stages in LAD 2, they have fun sipping old mud, right? So with F, we have derived fucosyl transferase, which is required for sialylated oligosaccharides, so sialylated oligosaccharides. And LAD1, they become LAD between the age of 18 to 21, so it is beta 2 integrin. So boys, for beta 2 integrin, they become LAD at the age of 18 to 21. This is how I remember it, so it gets easy for you also to remember this. So now we have Shediac-Higashi syndrome. So firstly remember for LAD defect also it is autosomal recessive disorder, and that is exactly the same case with Shediac-Higashi syndrome where the defect is autosomal recessive. So where does the defect lie? It is the fusion defect of phagosome and lysosome. So when phagosome, lysosome is not fusing, they are not fusing together. So what is the ultimate mechanism? So there is decreased phagocytosis, right? So what is the pathogenesis and what is the gene defect? It is the LIST gene. It is the LIST protein which is defective. LIST protein defective. So what are the conditions which it will predispose to? So there is melanin defect. There'll be, which leads to albinism. LIST protein defect, which is leading to melanin defect, albinism. There'll be bleeding disorders. Then pyogenic infections, right? So these are the manifestations. Patient will have albinism, right? Then patient will have bleeding disorders, platelet disorder, platelet dysfunction, all of that would be seen. This is albinism seen in Shediac-Higashi, inherited as autosomal recessive defect. Now comes chronic granulomatous disease. So the defect is in gene encoding NADP oxidase. Now what is the role of this NADP oxidase enzyme? So it breaks down H2O2 into free radicals. So there is increased oxidative burst. So now because this gene is defective, so oxidative burst is defective also. There's decreased oxidative burst. So what does it predispose to? It predisposes the patient to inflammatory conditions like swollen lymph nodes, then inflammation, gingivitis, etc. Now then, there are two forms of chronic granulomatous disease. The only thing that you need to remember from this particular deficiency, it is the defect in NADP oxidase enzyme. X-linked form and autosomal recessive form. So X-linked form, it is the most common form seen in 70% of cases, right? So it is the membrane component in X-linked form, membrane component of phagocyte oxidase is defective. Whereas it is the cytoplasmic component in autosomal recessive inheritance. It is the cytoplasmic component which is defective. And a very important test, which is nitro blue tetrazolium test. NBT test. It is positive in chronic granulomatous infection. Moving on to the complement component disorders. Under these we have complement protein deficiencies as well as complement regulatory protein deficiencies. Let's look at them. So firstly, we have complement protein deficiencies. Under this, we have the very first one, that is deficiency of C1, C2, C3 and C4. So C1, C2 and C4, their pathway is classical pathway, whereas for C3, it is the common pathway. So what are the diseases that these are predisposing the patients to? So firstly, it is SLE. The second one is glomerulonephritis. Whereas the third disease, it is the pyogenic infections. Right? Then we have the next deficiency, it is the properdin and factor D. So the pathway for this is alternative pathway, which is predisposing the individuals to pyogenic as well as Neisseria infections. The third one comes down to MAC complex. Now the pathway, it is common for all. Common pathway. And what are the defects? So let's remember it with MacBook or Mac notebook. So there are recurrent Neisseria infections. Which are C. Then come complement regulatory protein deficiencies. And what do we see in that? First one is C1 esterase enzyme. So C1 esterase, it is responsible for development of a very, very famous infection or a condition, which is hereditary angioedema. So with C, can we remember the capillaries? And because of these broken capillaries, you would say swollen eyelids, there is eczema, hives, urticaria like situation, swollen lips, right? And all the organs like eyes, mouth, genitals, hands and feet are affected in hereditary angioedema. So what is the major defect? It is the overactive classical pathway. which leads to hereditary angioedema. Right? Now, decay acceleration factor. Now, this particular factor or molecule CD55 and CD59, this particular molecule, it is present on the cell membrane. And major role of decay acceleration factor is that it leads to acceleration of dissociation of C3 convertase. Dissociation of C3 convertase. So there is defect in all the pathways. So now what is occurring? So because of this deficiency, decay acceleration factor and CD59 deficiency, there is defective C3 convertase. So because of this, we have a very important disease which it predisposes to. It is paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria or PNH. Right? So this is the defect which is seen in decay acceleration factor and CD59 deficiency. And then comes factor I and factor H. For factor I, we have defective classical pathway. So with I, we can derive I. And what is the disease? There is predisposition of pyogenic infections, right? And factor H, also there is defective. Now, I has for classical pathway, H is for alternative pathway. So now patients are predisposed to development of pyogenic as well as secondary bacterial infections. Right? Now talking about the secondary immunodeficiencies and associated conditions. Secondary immunodeficiencies develop because they are secondary to some predisposed conditions. And what are those predisposed conditions? Firstly, when there is immunodeficiency, immunosuppression, immunosuppressed states, right? Then older age group, wherein the patient is unable to mount an immune response. Then if there is any chemotherapy or radiotherapy that the patient is undergoing. Then malnutrition is one such condition. Malnutrition wherein there is deficiency of immunoglobulins as well. Immunoglobulins are unable to develop because of some defects in bone marrow leading to developmental defects in B cells, right? So these are all the conditions which lead to secondary immunodeficiency disorders. So all of these are associated with development of secondary immunodeficiencies and also some cytokine defects. One important CD4 cells are affected, and in what conditions are CD4 cells affected? In HIV situations. So these are all immunosuppressed states immunodeficient states which are predisposing individuals to such secondary immunodeficiency disorders. So this was about all the important primary as well as secondary immunodeficiency disorders. We have majorly covered up the important mnemonics, important inheritance defects, and the diseases that the patients are predisposed to. Thank you.